Good morning everyone. My name is Sunil Vijay. I will be taking your computer system and application subject in TY BCom semester 5. The topic of the today is data communication, networking and internet. So starting with the data communication, the first topic as you can see on the screen. Data and information. So the first thing that comes into mind is the data. So what is meant by the word data? As you can see over here, data refers to the raw facts that are collected, while information refers to the processed data that enable us to take the decision. Data means what? Simple words, that is called as raw facts. That means any information that is collected and it is kept, which is known as data. So now the data is being processed. That means something information has been collected from the data. So that we use the term as information. So we use the term as we can take some decision based on the data. For example, when results of a particular test is declared, it contains data of all students. So when you find the marks you have scored, you have the information that lets you know whether you have passed or failed. That means, for example, the teacher has conducted the exam, and for that exam the teacher has posted the result. So how you come to know that you are passed or failed in that subject? Based on the marks you obtain. So this is something called as information. Okay, coming to the next one, that is called as data communication. So basically speaking, what is data communication? It's a process of exchanging of data or information. In simple words, if user A wants to send data to user B, that is something called as data communication. So in case of computer networks, this exchange is done between two devices over a transmission medium, as I told you over here. So this process involves a communication system which is made up of hardware and the software. So basically speaking, the hardware part involves the sender and the receiver device and the intermediate devices through which the data passes. And the software part involves certain rules which specify what is to be communicated and how it is to be communicated and when. So it is called as the protocol. So simply speaking, what is meant by the term hardware? Hardware, you can say it as, now I want to send information from user A to user B. So user A should have a device, that is something called as a hardware. Like for example, in my scenario right now I am using the word computer. So computer is the hardware which is being used. Now that computer needs to be connected to the user B computer. Okay, so for that connection is required, again by wire or wireless whatsoever. That is the part of the hardware we are defining it over here. Okay, and the software refers to the program which we are running on user A that will help to get communicating with the user B. So the software is the part which is the means of communication between both the users, that is user A and the user B. Okay, so I hope so data communication is clear to you. That is, two or more devices needs to communicate with each other, and we use the term as data communication. Coming to the next one, the components of data communication. As you can see on the screen, the components of data communication are message, sender, receiver, transmission medium and the protocol. So these are known as the components of data communication. Okay, as you can see in the diagram, like here the sender is sending the message to the receiver. So the sender is user A and the receiver is the user B. So here you can see the medium is being used to communicate between both of them, and that is being used to pass on the message. So on the application part we have the protocols. Protocols are running on both the side, sender as well as receiver. Okay. Coming to the next one. The components are given below: messages, sender, receiver, transmission medium, and the protocol that we were discussing. So message is the information to be communicated by the sender to the receiver. So message is what we called it as the data that we want to send. Sender. The sender is any device that is capable of sending the data, like for example the message. In this scenario, the message is the information that I want to send from the user point of view. Receiver. The receiver is the device that the sender wants to communicate the data. That means receiver is the one to whom the message has to be sent. Okay, that in simple words, the message will be sent from the sender and the receiver will receive the message. So that means the sender wants to communicate to the receiver. Okay, then comes the transmission medium. It is the path by which the message travels from sender to receiver. It can be wire or wireless. As you can know, the messages can be sent from medium, so the medium can be referred to as wire or wireless. Okay, that is something called as transmission medium. And the last one is called as a protocol. So it is an agreed upon set of rules used by the sender and receiver to communicate the data. So we define it as set of rules. For communication we need to define the set of rules, and these are the set of rules used over here. Okay, coming to the next one, data representation. So here, commonly speaking, the data representation is done on text, number, images, audio and video. So these are the common formats available from the data representation point of view. So our data can be in text format, can be in number, can be images, can be audio, or can be video. Okay, coming to the detail point of view, what is text? Text is something simply called as the alphabet. As we know, uppercase or lowercase characters. Numbers can be like defined as from 0 to 9 digits. Images, that can be saying as an image is worth 1,000 words. That is a very famous saying in computer. Images are digitally stored in the form of pixels. So we use the term pixels to define the image. Then audio comes. Data can be also in the form of sound waves which can be recorded and broadcasted. Example we can hear on the radio is a source of data or information. So data that is in the format of waves, sound, that is called as audio wave files. And then comes the video. So video refers to broadcasting of data in the form of pictures or movies. So that means we can say it as the combination of images and audio is something called as video. Okay, so these are all the data formats which are available. So you can see in the example over here, data representation, like from the software point of view, like can be a message, can be an information which is shared between a conversation or an audio or a video. So this is the form of the data representation we are talking about over here. Okay, then comes data processing. So what you can see in the data processing part, there are multiple machines. All those servers are connected to a server. So the information is being shared through the servers, but the users are getting connected to those servers. The user doesn't know to whom server they are getting connected to. Are there single servers or multiple servers, but they collectively all are working together to provide services to the users or the customers. So this term is known as distributed processing in computer language. Okay, the common example is if you are using a Gmail account and you are sending a mail, so that Gmail doesn't have one server, there will be multiple servers, but they all are collectively working together to provide services to the user, and this is something called as distributed processing. Okay, coming to the next one, the definition you can see on the screen. Distributed processing is a phrase used to refer to a variety of computer systems that use more than one computer or processor to run an application. So whenever we use the term processor or number of processors, we use the term here distributed processing. So to run an application we require multiple processors. So this includes parallel processing, in which a single computer uses more than one CPU to execute programs. So it's sometimes called as parallel processing, but not both are same, both are different: distributed processing and parallel processing. But when we use the term distributed processing, so definitely we use the term as parallel processing, because we want to run multiple programs simultaneously. So we use the term as parallel processing. So computers that comprises the distributed data processing networks are located at different locations but interconnected by means of wireless or satellite. Okay, so the same diagram is given, like where the servers are being connected. So they can be connected using wire or wireless, and they can be distributed over different areas. That is, the servers will not be available in one single location, they will be available in different locations. So this is something called as distributed processing. Okay, so thank you very much. So this is the part that we are defining over here from the data communication point of view. Okay, thank you very much.